there, and then I go check her out on the table again.
I didn't do a very good job on that one. This one here?
I hit that one up too.
Remember to press harder.
And the uniform.
Rule number 4, Jim.
Uniform depth.
Yeah, uniform depth. All right, this will sink in eventually. You got to get this. You got to turn around and get that one.
Sure.
All right.
So Jim, what are you doing over there?
I'm going crazy. That's what I'm doing.
You taking out just the highest spots? Or?
Well, I had the thing to like 6 or 7 points most of the round, and then I got messed up and got a high spot in the center, and then I had to work the ends, and and I kind of went backwards for a while, and I'm trying to get back. So it's just chasing my tail here a little bit.
I understand.
And it's that's what we're here to learn how to do, is so that you don't have to chase your tail all the time. And I'm still. Yeah. Thank you. Now, see, I start talking and not paying attention to what I'm doing.
Right.
You do your piece now.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Dive bombing little tiny spots.
Dive bombing. You got points on there now.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to increase the number of points and go after individual little itty bitty stuff.
Okay.
And with the power scraper this time instead of the hand scraper.
And where are you at?
You mean count wise? No, I haven't counted yet, so I'm not quite ready for a count yet.
Yeah, right.
Not enough salt and pepper look, so. Yeah, I'm almost done with this pass here. I'm going to print it again in a sec and see what it looks like.
Right now, it's pinging on some air.
All right.
Let's see it. Let's see the.
I'm having a time. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Tree from afar. You can zoom in to the individual veins on the leaves.
All right, hold it.
The interesting thing is that those
forgot.
pixels are like 3 pixels because form is like 3-dimensional.
Straight out here and bring it in here.
On the sensor,
Don't
it's
push
like
down.
you have an array. You have 4 pixels, let's
Like
say.
maybe
that
2 pounds of pressure down.
Yep.
And then you hit it.
The internal computer does all kinds of
This side, you hit something with belly. Move your elbow straight off from
In
here.
reality, you don't have 4
Turn it.
pixels. You have like,
Oh, it's not a very hard hit.
so that,
I'm hitting it right here, see? Yeah.
I think
Hit this corner on that corner.
You get a lot more than one.
I'm not hitting it straight. I'm hitting it like I said on the hammer. I got this here.
So imagine that the finish nail is sticking out like this.
Yeah. Like on an angle. But you're not going like that. You would bend over the nail.
Right.
And so you're hitting like you're gonna hit something in the belly.
I think that's something also like the more
You need to put some ink on there too so you see it how you're doing it. Yeah, make it really dark.
All right. So Rex, we're in day 3. How's your project coming?
Getting there. I got 2 sides fairly flat, and I got Richard making faces in the background.
That's what they did to me when I was over in Sweden.
And just kind of trying to get points now. I got it flat, but I'm trying to get more than probably 15, 20 points across the 2 sides now.
Both on the dovetails, the angle
Yeah, dovetail I haven't really gone for points yet. I got it flat, but it's rough, so it's probably 5, 10 points per inch. Up here I probably got 15-ish across the whole thing though. And so now I'm just trying to bring in more and more points. And right now I just finished the pass, so I'm just stoning off the burrs and then give it another go.
Go back to the blue and see where you're at.
Yep, exactly.
So Bill, how's your experience been here?
It's been wonderful. It's been really good. I've enjoyed it. I've never done hand scraping before. I purposely didn't want to try it on my own until I came to the class, mainly so I didn't pick up any bad habits. It's harder for me to break a bad habit than it is for me to learn right. So I purposely stayed away from trying to do any scraping beforehand. So
Well, that's the record for the class, isn't it? 45.3.
yeah, I'm not sure where Tom's at, but I think
He was right around 40. I think.
Yeah.
So that's,
and that kind of just, someone said, you better count that because that's looking pretty good. And I didn't even count it yet, so.
you got the print there too?
Yeah.
Hold it up a little bit. Okay, now the top one.
The top one, which is fainter, is the hand one. I stopped at about 26.
Okay. And then there's that bottom one. That's going to go in the textbooks, I think. Any tips for the rest of us?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, just when the points start coming in and you start dive bombing, just keep splitting them. And they keep getting smaller and smaller, and the more you split them, the smaller they become, the more points you have.
Did you think the power scraping was easier? I mean, more precise, I guess. Easier to be precise?
It was, yes, I think so, ultimately, even though you're holding the scraper.
Right.
Because it's doing the work and all you're doing is moving it around, it did make it easier that way, yes.
I saw a lot of guys hitting it up here, and I'm hitting it down lower. So that's pretty magical. And just kind of rest it against, come up a little bit like this, and then kind of grip it pretty well, but you're not holding tight. All you're doing is just keeping it there. Right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to hit it there, right? And you feel that torque?
That's what
your hand's just going to bring it back. So the hammer torques it, you bring it back. So you're just trying to hold it there and keep it there. And then come in like this more.
Must be a little too much down pressure.
Yeah, no, barely any down pressure. And move, yeah, you got it. Just move over so you can see what you're doing. Go, just go. There you go. You're getting them.
Yeah, you asked me about my experience, and it was very positive. Richard's a good teacher, and the thing I liked was that he explains things, gives you the basics, lets you start, and lets you make mistakes, because that's really how you learn. You make mistakes, and you start to develop a sense of how it works, and then he'll come by and tweak you this and do a little, and all it is a few subtle things, and suddenly it's coming right out.
Right.
Oh, it's kind of really fun. My project
Get a picture of that project.
Yeah, my project, I brought this it's a straight edge, cast iron straight edge, and I had started it at home on what I call the A side, which will be the actual straight, flat side that will be used as a straight edge for transferring the blue. Eventually this will be, because you can't take the surface plate to a machine, so this will be the reference flat, and then it has a 35-degree angle on this edge, which I'm scraping in. So when you're doing cast iron, or when you're scraping multiple surfaces, you can't do just one, finish it, do the second one, finish it, because when you're working on this edge, as an example, this surface may change a little bit, which it did, slightly.
It did.
It did.
Flatness?
Hinging.
Oh, hinging. Oh, yeah.
It's changed slightly. So you don't get one completely finished to like 40 points or whatever it is you're trying to do, and then go and do this one, because then you'll have to go back and do this one. Right. So you just tweaked a little bit. So then I decided I'd like to do what I call the B side, which is not going to be used ever, I don't think, as a straight edge. It was more for practice for me to get another surface to scrape and flat. But what I'm trying to do is make it parallel to the A side.
Sure. Now, are you using a hand scraper or power?
This is all hand scraping.
Yeah. You like hand scraping?
I do. And plus, I don't know if I can justify the cost of a biax scraper.
Well, that's the other part of it, isn't it?
It is. But somebody mentioned to me, I think it might have been you, work holding is really the key to most of all of machining, is really how to hold the material while you're machining it. In this case, how to hold the part. So everybody has their own, they develop their own way of holding it. In this case, this was something that I did when, at home. When I was doing the A side, this was like this, and this was like this. These things weren't there at the time, and this sat in here like this, and that held it. Now that it's on the B side, everything gets flipped around. When on this side, it has to be sitting like this. So I have a couple other pieces of wood that hold it a certain way.
Right. Well, you're a woodworker, so
that's how my brain works.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. So how's the experience been for you?
It's been good. I was really tired the first day or two, and I'm still tired, but I'm getting used to it and plugging along. So
yeah,
I'm ready to go for the last day.
All right, and you got your cast iron bar finished?
Oh yeah, it turned out good. I started very slowly, but got the hang of it and eventually kind of caught up.
Okay. And so what's your project?
It's just an angle block, just to get it square and flat, and eventually I'm going to do the edges. I don't think that'll happen in this class, but I'm going to do the edges too, just as a practice.
Where are you at? You got one side flat, or?
One side is rough flat, the other one is pretty close to rough flat, so it's going to change to finishing pretty soon, I think.
That's kind of that iteration like David was talking about. Get this close, go back to the first one, go back to the second one.
Yeah, you don't want to make it all real nice and perfect while you still have an angle problem, because you're going to have to take it all away, so you're wasting your time.
Right.
So you have to get the kind of work between both, keeping the angle right and the thing flat at the same time, work to both get goals at the same time.
So this is the last day. You've been scraping at the same table for 5 days?
Yeah, I'm sick of you. No,
well, you're the bozo.
I'm just kidding.
So tell me, this is your first Richard King class.
That's right.
How's it going?
Pretty good. I'm pretty excited about some of the stuff that we've learned, and it gives you some confidence to take on some projects, most definitely. And it's the beginning of a journey. I can see that, though, right? And it doesn't come overnight. I know the first day I was struggling with everybody else, and just how does this even work, right? And then it just kind of clicks, and you kind of drop into a groove, and then you're doing some stuff. And you can see around the room that different people have different rates. Some people picked it up like immediately, right? And I noticed that, and I was like, "What am I doing wrong?" Right? And you have to look. This is a patient process, so if you're impatient, don't play with this.
This is not for you.
This is not for you. Go break rocks or something, right? So
I guess the thing that's impressed me is that you're kind of a precision guy. I've seen some of your videos, kind of into precision, and you've been able to do this pretty precision too.
Yeah, reasonably well, and I mentioned it earlier that I really like these kind of fundamental processes, right, where you can generate flat planes or perpendicular surfaces and stuff like that at a high degree of accuracy with basically no measuring tools. And you can start with literally like a stick with a blade on it, right? And for lack of a better term, and do some really high class work, which is really cool, right? You don't need the super hot whammy, fancy grinder or whatever. You can just do this stuff by hand, right? And kind of neat.
But over at the college, I'm thinking I might make up a little bunch of these little scrapers and you know, have like a scrape fest or something for all
That's
the students.
actually a good little machining project. For
Yeah, it is.
some of this.
Relatively straightforward, and you know, people get it's cheap, right? So they can keep it afterwards.
How's your project coming?
It's coming along pretty well. So this is it's a right angle plate, and I think a lot of the guys are making right angle plates, but it was just a cast iron, and I checked it. It was like a 1.5 thou in terms of perpendicularity beforehand. Checking with this magnetic cylinder square. It's got a base that's magnetic and is very, very flat and perpendicular to this ground rod within about 50 mils. And so checking it with that, it was a 1.5 thou. Then I went in there and I just started, you know, establishing a scraping pattern, crosses across both surfaces, and got it pretty close. So I got about 5 points per inch over the entire surface on both sides, and got the perpendicularity within 3/10. Now I'm going back in to finish this larger surface to probably 40 points if I can get it.
Oh wow!
And I mean, it's a gauge surface, so and then I'll get the other side in to 40 points as well, trying to manage the perpendicularity and get it as close as I can.
You're happy with 3/10 perpendicular?
Over surfaces this big, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It would be nice to be within 2, which is kind of a gauge standard for angle plates.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
So classes worked out for you. You go back and you'll keep scraping and teach others too.
Try and pass on whatever I've learned. I mean, especially, you know, the scraping technique it's just muscle memory, but like learning how to read the topography, right? Applying the right amount of blue, reading the blue. I think that's really something that has to be taught.
All right, this is our host, Jim, and Jim has been scraping on this bar for 5 days now. 4 in a couple hours. Yeah. So how's it become intimate with that? How's it coming?
It's been a little bit frustrating, but I've learned a lot. You know, and that's the whole thing. You know, I think I've struggled last couple of days. I think I've learned that I was probably not taking my prints very consistently. Doing the rubbings, we're just kind of all over the board. I started having weird readings and doing weird things, and then I make a rubbing, and then I just immediately wipe it clean and do another one. I get a completely different reading. I think the other thing too is that I remember I watched quite a few online videos before the class started, you know, but now that I have some real hands-on experience, I'll go back and watch those. I think they'll make, you know, I'll get a lot more out of it. You know? So I anticipate I'll be doing that here in the next weeks or days. Looking at a lot, revisiting a lot of those scraping videos. You know, so yeah.
Okay, well, sounds good. Sounds like a good experience for you.
All in all, it's been a great experience. I really enjoyed having people here in the shop to share the shop with me.
This is Jim's shop.
Yeah, this is my shop.
Working
so,
it.
Yeah. So.
We're pretty appreciative too.
Yeah, thank you.
Mike, this is last day of class. You're getting the award you're getting the Perseverance Award.
Yeah.
We'll call it that.
What do we call it? The participation trophy. Yeah.
So you're getting a lot of experience scraping.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how's your Durabar coming?
So this was a huge revelation last night. I've been fighting for 2 days. I've been hinging beautifully, you know, right in here, just like I'm supposed to. And everyone's been giving me a hand and saying, you know, are you hinging? Yes, I am. But I didn't realize something was happening. David came over and said, hey, did you see the demonstration that Richard did? And what he did is he came over with a gauge block and he hinged the gauge block on my part. And this one obviously hinged pretty good right there. Hinged pretty good right there. Right now it'll hinge very good. It's, you know, a little bit of variation. But, well, you see right there a little bit. It's moving inside. What we found was I was pretty straight this way, but I was actually domed a little bit this way.
Huh.
And anytime you're high in the middle, very easy to get a false print.
Right.
I would say this is really my indoctrination into this level of accuracy. You know, thousandths, half a thousandth machining,
You can
I
relate.
feel I'm pretty comfortable with that. This is another whole new level of what's going on when you start, you're really dealing with tens.
How are you liking the class?
I'm loving it. I can tell you, if I was at home, hand scraping, struggling like I am, I cannot believe I would get the Perseverance Awards, because hand scraping I would have gone so much slower, and I'd have all this confusing information and no one to bounce ideas off. Not just Richard and Alex, but I mean everybody in the class,
right?
taking the experiences that they had along the way. And 5 days of doing this, and especially with the power scrapers, because I'm getting turn. I get to go through the entire process so many times per day, where if I was hand scraping, maybe that'd be 20% of that.
And at some point you get frustrated with the whole damn thing. Chuck this into the river and say,
Well, yeah, I'm not discouraged in any way. I would have liked to
no,
have
if
picked it
you
up
were
a
at
little.
home though.
Yeah,
That would be
I
tough.
think if I was home hand scraping by myself, which is the way I do everything, right? I probably would get discouraged and give up. I can see what's happening. I haven't figured out some of the nuances yet, but so I'm happy with the class. I know now I would get there, and I believe if I had started this on my own, I may never have taken the class. I might have gotten so frustrated, I would just be like, that's not for me. I'll be able to do it. I would like to have gotten further, but I've gotten a lot out of it, and I would do it again.
So I wanted to ask you one thing. Do you have any good scraping jokes? I've been trying to think. And
I don't know. I know a bunch of I know a canton
I've heard some
joke.
of your jokes.
Oh, yeah, a barbed wire joke.
We won't talk about the other ones.
Yeah, I got some jokes, but I don't really know any good scraping jokes.
We're going to have to work on that.
Yeah.
Well, I thought, maybe there's a scraper driving down the road. He sees a guy by the side. Old man stops to see if anything's wrong. The old man says, I had a blowout. Can you help me? Scraper says, no, it's already flat. I don't know. I'm trying.
You know how you put a scraper in a refrigerator?
No, how do you do that?
You open the door, take the scraper and put it in, shut the door.
Okay.
You know how to put a flaker in the refrigerator?
No.
You open the door, you take out the scraper, you put the flaker in and shut the door.
How did you transition from industrial classes at companies? How did that work into this more hobby machinist or home machinist type class?
Well, back about 2008 or something, the factories, I used to do a lot for General Motors, a lot of big companies, and I didn't really gear anything towards hobby guys because, I wanted to go to get the money from the big companies.
Sure.
And, but things got slow, and the first thing that happens, these big companies, the economy goes down. The first thing they cut is training. Second thing they cut is maintenance. So I was pretty screwed.
Those are the two things you do.
Yeah, right. So I teach maintenance. Well, anyway, I waiting around for the phone to ring, and then I got bored, and I started getting on the internet and talking on the boards. And I got a practical machinist, and I was typing in there. And somebody in Dallas said, we're trying to get another guy to come out and teach us. I mentioned I taught classes, and the guy in Dallas said, can you come down here? Yeah, sure, I'll come down there. And so I went down and taught this class in Dallas, and then I had a guy up north in Wisconsin that was wanted to learn, so we started advertising only on the boards, and that's kind of where it started. And it's amazing how a lot of you hobby guys, you buy all the older machines and or it doesn't cut straight, and you want to fix it. And so, then when I told on Practical Machinist, I was thinking about retiring. I should have retired 10 years ago, or said it, because I've never been so damn busy, and I am.
Well, there is kind of this, we better take a class from Richard before he retires. We got to do it now.
Keith Rucker and John Saunders and Steve Watkins and you and half a dozen other guys have done the tests, and they do, like Stefan G over in Germany. He's got an absolutely dynamite one on how to scrape. My plan now is my son Alex, who I taught to scrape a long time ago. He's along on this class.
Right.
And he's a lot of help. He's my chauffeur, which is sweet. And but he's got a photographic memory, and he can help people, even though he hasn't scraped for a while. But he knows the lingo.
Yeah.
And that helps me a lot. That's why I love it when an old student comes to the class. Like the last class I was at, I have these 3 jokes I tell. It's kind of, I've been telling them for years, and I kind of forgot. You get older and you don't think about it, but you do get a little forgetful sometimes, or you want to say a word and it doesn't want to come out of your mouth.
I understand.
Well, anyway, one of the guys said, hey, what about that joke that you're famous for? And I went, oh, and I had to kind of remember what it was. Now I get a kick out of Tom. Tom Lipton is in the class. He had it written down in his notebook to remind me.
That's right.
Yeah.
He was the only one taking notes.
Yeah, he says camping trip.
Yeah. I thought he was taking all the technical information.
Yeah. I want to just say something too. I've seen his ox tools, and I've heard things about how great he is and things. And as a professional teacher, you kind of get a little worried sometimes when you have a guy like that come into your class. But damn, is he a nice guy.
Yeah.
And he's just like, you didn't know who the hell he was, you just think, God, what a super nice guy. And when I met him, I was a little leery, but man, he's a super good guy. It's like Keith Rucker, another guy. I had an interview one time when my hair was really red, but the wife and I had just come back from a cruise, and she had me dye my gray hair, and she said, because she wanted to make sure everybody thought she was with some hottie instead of some old guy. So I did an interview with that red hair. They screwed up when they put it in. I was supposed to have more brown hair. And so everybody said, gee, you look so young, you changed. But then I did Keith's video and A-bombs, and I was real leery about guys videoing it. But it's the best thing that ever happened to me. And since then, you guys that do the videos, I encourage you, I want you to do them so that you pass on the lost art.